DreAllDay.com.
Now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, we're not done. You get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. Then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, strategies, approaches, insights, and techniques, all under one unifying philosophy that is known as work on your game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic, today we are talking about the skill of forced optimism. Yeah, you never heard of that before, have you? Good. I'm going to introduce it to you here today. The skill of forced optimism. Yes, this is a thing. And if you didn't know it was a thing, now you can introduce it into your vernacular because I am making it a thing as of this episode, and whenever moment you happen to be listening to it, actually as of the time that I'm recording it, you just happen to be finding out about it right now when you're listening to it. Now, before I get into this, first of all, let me tell everybody, I send out a daily motivation text every day. I would like you to receive it. So all you need to do to help me help you with that daily motivation is to text me at the following number, 305-384-6894. Send me a text at that number right now, and every day you will receive my daily motivation message straight to your phone, straight through text. Normal text messaging rates apply. For most of us, our texts are free. Just comes with the plan. And every day you'll get that message. Keep you focused, sharp, and on point every day. That number is also down below in the show notes, 305-384-6894. Now this topic, the skill of forced optimism. First of all, let's get clear on what optimism means. And those of you who've been listening to the show, you know I always give definitions on the words and terms that I'm using so that we can all be on the same page. Definition of optimism is hopefulness and confidence about the future or the successful outcome of something. Hopefulness and confidence about the future or about the successful outcome of something. Now, I would think everyone listening to this show, you like to be optimistic. Man, it's a good thing to be optimistic, right? It's a good thing to be hopeful and confident about your future in life. Isn't that a good thing? I don't see any downside to that. And just about the successful outcome of anything, you think about any project or anything that you're working on right now, wouldn't it be good to feel positive energy about that thing working out in a successful way for you? I mean, you heard what I just talked about in episode number 2023, the life-changing 48-hour experiment, which was about a month ago. In that episode, I explained to you the very concept of keeping your mind focused on the positive outcomes that you want. If you can keep your mind focused on positive outcomes for just 48 hours straight and only positive outcomes and nothing else for 48 hours straight, you can change the trajectory of your life. I know this for a fact. I've had other people try this and many of them failed, at least the first couple of times they tried it, but you do this successfully, it is going to change your life. And since I put that episode out a month ago, by now, at least some of you should have already done it. All right, just my number of people who listen to the show, some of you should have already at least completed that. Hopefully you got it done at least one time. All right, that's what the life-changing 48-hour experiment will do. So knowing that, if you combine that 48-hour experiment with the skill of forced optimism, in other words, forcing yourself to be optimistic, hopeful, confident about the successful outcomes of things, I mean, this could change everything that happens in your life. And not only will it change your life, it'll start to change the lives of the people around you. Is that something does that sound like, even if you're not quite sure you can believe me just yet? Some of you are listening to this right now like, all right, man, that sounds good, Dre, but I'm not so sure this is actually a real thing. Can this really happen? Some of you are not so sure. You're skeptical a little bit right now, but have I at least sold you enough that you will invest your time and attention to listening to me lay out how you can develop this skill of forced optimism? And then you're going to go listen, maybe for the second time, to episode 2023 about that life-changing 48-hour experiment. And I guarantee you this will change everything for you without a single change in your abilities. All right, we got a deal that I'm going to do that. You're going to listen, and then we'll go from there. All right, is that cool? Good. Point number one. Topic, once again, is the skill of forced optimism. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people. And any of you know what it is? What is the difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person? Some of you are thinking right now, well, the difference, Dre, is how much game they have, how much they work on their game. And I understand you're pandering to me by saying that, but that is wrong. That is not the difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person. That's the difference in some things, but not in overall success or unsuccess or lack of success, let's say. Or if I'll give you a different version of the same question. What is the difference between success and failure, just in a situation. Doesn't even have to be a person's entire life or who they are as a person as a success or a failure, but just in the moment, in the very thing that you're working on right now. What is the main difference between you succeeding on that project and you failing on that project? Does anybody know? The answer is right there in what I told you in episode 2023, which again was 30 or so days before this episode, so you should already have the answer. But let's just say that you didn't listen to episode 2023. Maybe today's your first episode listening to the show. Maybe you did and you forgot it because you've been listening to a bunch of garbage outside of the work on your game world. I don't know why you're doing that, but it's your life. You do what you want. The difference is this: focus. The difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful person. The difference between you as a person succeeding in task A and failing in task B. The main difference is your focus. Both your long-term focus and your short-term, in-the-moment focus. That is the difference between your success and your failure, between your winning and losing. Now, how is this? It's because of this. Successful people focus on positive possibilities and the positive elements of their circumstances. That's what successful people do. And people who succeed in the short term, you could be a person who's been up and down. You've had some successes, you've had some failures. The person who succeeds, and when you succeed as a person, it is because you are focused on the positive possibilities and the positive elements of whatever circumstances you happen to be dealing with. While, on the other hand, unsuccessful people, or people who fail in that moment, because again, you could have a little bit of both in your life. When you fail, it is because you are doing the exact opposite. Your focus is on the negative possibilities and the negative elements of your circumstances. And let's also remember that these words, positive and negative, are very relative. Every circumstance in life is neutral. So that's why I said the positive possibilities and the positive elements of your circumstance based on how you see the situation. I can't tell you what's positive about your situation. I can suggest to you, but you have to agree with me. And if you don't, you have a right to that. You decide what is positive and negative about your circumstance, and you decide then you decide which elements you're going to focus on. If you focus on the negative, you will lose, you will fail. And if you focus on the positive, you will succeed and you will win. And if you focus on a little bit of the positive and a little bit of the negative, and you seem to vacillate back and forth between focusing on the positive and focusing on the negative, you know what's going to happen? You're going to get mixed results. Sometimes you're going to win, sometimes you're going to lose. Some of you are listening to me right now, and I'm describing your life. Sometimes things are working out great, sometimes the things are working out terribly, and the reason for that has nothing to do with your skill level, has nothing to do with your talent or the opportunity that has been given to you. It has everything to do with what you are choosing to focus on. And when your focus goes back and forth, your results go back and forth. When your focus stays in one place, your results stay in one place over the long term. Look at your own life, go apply what I just told you, and tell me I'm lying. And understand that while circumstances cannot always be controlled, actually most of the time we can't control circumstance, focus is a choice. You have 100% control over your focus at all times. This is why I tell you all the time, you can always do something about any situation you find yourself in your life, even if the only thing you can do is changing your focus. Even if all you do is change what aspect of the situation you choose to pay attention to. And that's the only thing you do that's doing something. And that something is not insignificant. It's a very significant something to change your focus on a situation. Because if you really think about it, if you look around in your life right now, every aspect of your life, there are things that you are proud of and happy about and want more of that you could focus on. And there are things that you are not happy about, not proud of, that you probably see as maybe an area for improvement or something you want to completely eliminate. You could focus on that too. All right, is there anyone listening to me who has all negative stuff in their life, nothing positive you can think about? Is there anyone listening who has all positive stuff and there's nothing that you want to change or improve on that exists at all? Everything's just perfect and positive and exactly as you want it right now in your life. No, there's no one listening to me who your life is all great or all bad. Therefore, because you have a mix, even if it's 99% to 1%, because you have a mix, you always have a choice as to where your focus goes. Therefore, that backs up what I just said. You can always choose your focus, and you do have to make a choice since you have a mix, right? Focus is a choice. There are many things we could focus on, because we're human, we do have a limitation. The limitation is you can only focus on one thing at a time. Successful people choose to focus on their confidence about the successful outcome of a situation, aka they focus on optimism. Whereas unsuccessful people, what do? They focus on the negatives. I just told you in episode 2010, identify problems, but focus on solutions. Losers in life identify problems, then they just focus on the problems. Winners identify problems as well. They don't ignore a problem. They don't ignore a challenge. They don't ignore an area for improvement. It's just that they focus on what can I do about it. Notice that wording. What can I do about it? Even if the only thing you do is change your mentality and change your focus on the situation, you're doing something. A successful person is never powerless in a situation, because if they can't do anything physically, they can always do something mentally. And the mind is to the physical as 3 is to 1. That is a quote from Napoleon Bonaparte, one of the greatest war generals of all time. I told you in episode number 1693, the one best thing to focus on for the year 2021, I just made it for that year 2021, but applies to every year in perpetuity, is focusing on getting the right people around you. Because the right people are the type of people who are focusing more consistently on positive things than even you are. And they will raise your average just by you hanging around them. In episode number 1556, I told you how to up your focus by having a short memory on negative things so you don't dwell on them, and also a short memory on a positive thing so that you don't hold yourself back thinking about how you won yesterday. Therefore, you're not bringing the energy to show up today. That's what the third day is about. In episode 1543, how to focus your greatness. In episode 1193, I told you how focus is the force multiplier. It connects directly to what I'm telling you here in point number 1. Whatever you focus on, you create more of. You focus on anything, you will get more of it. So you look at your life right now, what do you want more of? I'm gonna give you a second to think about that. What in your life right now do you want more of? Focus on that and you will get more of it. Because when you focus on it, you're gonna think about it more. And when you think about it, you're eventually gonna speak about it. And when you speak about it more, you're gonna eventually do something about it. And when you do more of it, you're gonna start to create more results that are based around that very thing you were focused on. Try it and tell me I'm wrong. Again, episode 1193, it's 1,000 days ago I told you this. Let's move on to point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is the skill of forced optimism. Successful people, whoever you know to be successful, if you are successful people have developed the skill. And skills are developed through habits and discipline, by the way, in case you didn't know, of staying hopeful and confident about their future success. Let me repeat what I just said. Successful people have developed the skill, meaning habits and disciplines, of staying hopeful and confident about their future success. Now, I want you to notice what I said in that sentence right there. I also want you to notice what I did not say. I did not say that successful people have more talent. I didn't say they have more game. I did not say they work harder. I did not say they come from the right family. I didn't say that they come from a favorable background. I didn't say they come from a certain country. I didn't say they were a certain gender or sexual orientation or whatever identification. None of those. None of those is the determining factor in whether a person is successful or not, even though many of you may either incorrectly believe that or you have been falsely taught that. All right, if you believe it or you've been taught it, either way, it doesn't matter. If it's in your mind right now, I want you to grab it, pick it up, and throw it in the garbage. Take it in the back and shoot it so that nobody else can pick it up either. What makes you successful or unsuccessful is how many of your habits and disciplines are focused on being hopeful, positive, and confident about your future versus being unhopeful, negative, and pessimistic about your future. That will determine your success. Think of the 3 most successful people that you know personally. Type of people that if you've seen them, they know you and you know them. And I want you to just look at them or just think about them. If you can physically be around them, just observe them next time you see this person. And just observe, how positive is this person about their future? How do they talk about their future? Even when they're in a challenging situation, listen to the words that they use. Listen to their language. Look at their energy. Look at the way that they show up in situations, even when things are not going the way they want them to go. Look at their energy and the way that they are being in the moments. I talk about your being in my book, The Mirror of Motivation. I I got a copy here. Let me make sure I show it to you for those of you who don't have it yet. Good thing I got long arms here. Here it is, The Mirror of Motivation, the self-guided self-discipline. In this book, I talk to you about who you are being as a person. Successful people have mastered their being. They're not necessarily experts at what they're doing. And they may not be experts at having. I mean, everybody can be an expert at having, just having success. Everybody wants it, right? Successful people are mastered the first step, which is who they're being as a person. Positive, optimistic, and confident about their future success. The good thing about habits, as I said, skills are formed through habits. Good thing about them is that anybody can develop them. All right, there's no exclusive group for success. You don't have to be born into a certain family. You don't have to have certain physical traits. All you have to do is develop habits that create success. In episode 2023, I told you about the habit of positive thinking. I told you about the habit of positive thinking actually in probably at least 100 different episodes of this show. I'm telling you about it again here today. You might think that's kind of important because I keep talking about it over and over again from so many different angles because I want to make sure no matter what way you need to hear it, you're going to hear it at least one time from me. That's why I keep talking about it so often. The longer you can maintain your focus on a positive outcome or positive outcomes plural, the stronger your positive results will be. Now, you might think this is some kind of wishy-washy, woo-woo. It can't possibly be that simple, Dre. Okay, well, if it can't be that simple, then that means you agree that it's simple to even try it out, right? So why not just why not just try an experiment and let's see if it works out? Now, the challenge is, actually, let me offer a disclaimer. It's not a challenge, a disclaimer before you start the experiment. Don't go into the experiment with the mindset that it can't possibly work because you already are in a negative state. You're already setting yourself up to be a failure. You're already setting yourself up to be a loser. And if you're thinking that way right now, then look at your own life. All right, I didn't do that. You did it. All right, this is a habit. If that's a thought that came into your mind, that is a mental habit that you had before you showed up here. All right, so don't blame me for it. But I can help you fix it if you're willing to do something about it. But I can't make you drink the water. I can just show it to you. The longer you can maintain focus on positive outcomes, the stronger your positive results. The key is having that focus when your reality is telling you the exact opposite of positive, hopeful, and confident about your future success. Did you hear what I just said? That's the key. Is staying positive even when your current reality says anything other than positive. Can you do that? Let me help you out. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is the skill of forced optimism. Your job is to force optimism on yourself, even when, check that, especially when things are not perfect. That's your job. Let me say it again. I'll make sure you heard me. Your job is to force optimism on yourself even when your reality is saying pessimism. Your reality is telling you you're going to lose. You got to force yourself to think you're going to win. When reality is telling you this is not going to work, you got to force yourself to believe that it is going to work. This is the job right here. This is the third day mentality right here. This is the difference between successful people and losers. This is the difference between the project you're working on right now, working out to fruition, and failing. Your ability to focus on the positive even when reality is giving you no reason to do so. This is the magic trick right here. This is the secret to success, the magic trick that successful people have mastered. They have mastered it to the point that they made it a habit. They made it a habit of who they are being to the point that they don't even have to think about it because they automatically do it. Would you like to do that? Would you like to have that skill? I would suggest you start by going to mirrorofmotivation.com and getting this book. I'm giving you the book for free. Okay, all you got to do is cover the shipping, get the book. I guarantee what you invest in paying the shipping for this book, you will get 1,000 times return on investment if you follow what I tell you in this book. Which means I should be charging you a lot more than I'm charging for that. I'm giving it to you for free, so it got to be more than that, right? Understand that circumstance is out of your control. Focus is always within your control. Circumstance is often out of your control. Focus is always in your control. The Jedi mind trick, what you focus on, you create. You notice I'm repeating myself a lot here. You notice I'm telling you a lot of the same ideas. I'm just saying it to you in different ways. Are you noticing that? Some people have even pointed this out to me. Oh, he repeats himself. All right, that's the damn point. I'm supposed to repeat myself so it gets through your head, and you actually start doing something with it. Because a lot of you listen to this show and you're kind of like jerking off on this information. Like, yeah, it sounds good, but are you actually applying it? That's why I keep repeating myself. All right, you went to elementary school, right? How many times did you say the ABCs? Now you know the song right now. You're thinking about the song right now. You can hear the whole melody in your mind right now. Why is that? Not because the ABCs is such a great song. It's because you said it so many times that you can't ever forget it. And now when someone puts together a combination of those 26 letters, you recognize them as words. And when someone puts them down on a piece of paper, you can read. All right. That's why we did the ABCs so many times so that you couldn't possibly forget it. So any of you who has ever offered the thought, or some people have even offered the critique of Dre, he repeats himself. All right. That's the goddamn point. So that you don't forget it. And I'm going to keep repeating myself, just in case you were wondering. So your job is to force yourself to focus on positive outcomes, and positive outcomes will happen. You think that's too simple, right? All right, we'll try it, and let's see. The disclaimer, here's the disclaimer, that forcing yourself to think about and focus on positive outcomes is not a foolproof strategy, meaning just because you focus on positive outcomes does not mean everything you do is going to work out exactly as you want it to. There are times you're going to focus on positive outcomes completely and you're still not going to get the success that you want. The key then is that even though you did it last time and it didn't work the way you wanted to, is you got to bring the same enthusiasm to the next one, and the next one, and the one after that. In the long run, you will win a lot more than you'll lose. That's my promise to you. So the disclaimer is that even when focusing on positive outcomes does not produce the result that you want, you still show up and do it again the very next time. That is the essence of the third day. That even when things are not working as you want, you focus on them working as you want and you show up anyway. Here's the book. If you haven't gotten this one yet, the link is also down below, thirddaybook.com. I'm just giving y'all the game. This is all I want to do, is just give you the game. And I need many of you to actually go apply the stuff that I'm giving you, get positive results, and then come back and let me and the world know that the things that I'm telling you actually work. So, because that makes me look good. All right, that's what I get. I'm telling you what you get. I'm telling you what I get as well. Okay, I'm giving you what you get. You give me what I need. So I need some of you to go apply this and actually get some tangible results, so that nobody thinks I'm just on the mic talking shit. Because if you don't go apply this information and you don't try it, well, I guarantee that you'll fail. All right, that's all of life right there. Let's recap today's class, which is the skill of forced optimism. Definition of optimism: hopefulness and confidence about the future or the successful outcome of something. Number one, the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people, or between success and failure, moment by moment, is your focus. Your long-term focus and your in-the-moment focus. Successful people focus on positive possibilities and the positive elements of their circumstances, while unsuccessful people simply do the opposite of that. And while circumstance is not always under your control, focus is always under your control. There are many things we could focus on. Successful people choose to focus on the positive. Simple as that. Number two, successful people have developed the skill, through habit and discipline, of staying hopeful and confident about their future success. And anyone can develop this habit. See episode 2023 where I explain to you exactly how to do it. It will only take you 48 hours, cost you no money, you need no tools. All you need is a brain. If you can hear what I'm saying right now, you can do the 48-hour experiment and change your life. And number three, your job is to force optimism on yourself, especially when things are not perfect. You can't control circumstance, you can't control focus. The Jedi mind trick is what you focus on, you create. That's the Jedi mind trick. That's the whole thing. So focus yourself to focus on positive outcomes and you will get positive results. If you focus on negative, you get negative. If you focus neutrally, meaning you're sometimes positive, sometimes negative, that's exactly what your life is going to look like. And if you look in the mirror right now at your own life, that's probably exactly what you're doing, because that's what most people do. They can't stay positive long, they can't stay negative long, so and that's exactly what happens in their life. They get good stuff and bad stuff, good and bad, and it goes back and forth. If you want it to just stay good, stay focusing on the positive, I guarantee your average will go up. And if you don't try any of this, if you just leave it to neutral, you fall into entropy, which is a state of disarray, and you'll fail. Your choice, your life. Just don't say nobody ever gave you the game. Now, my Bulletproof Mastermind is my group coaching program, where if you want to get a live training from me every single week. Every week I do a live training where everyone in the mastermind joins me. I do a training. I answer all questions on the subject. I answer questions that are not on the subject. We have a members only platform, membership area, community where you can share your challenges. I pose questions. I respond to everybody's stuff. We look at your stuff. We critique stuff. We ask questions. We find out what people have going on. You get people to poke holes at what you're working on so that you can make it better, make it sharper before you put it out to the world. Any idea you have, you bring it to the community. We will make it better before you put it out so that you can make sure you're putting your best foot forward. All of that's happening in my Bulletproof Mastermind. That's my group coaching program. And I also have my 3rd day mastermind, which is my one-on-one coaching program. If you're interested in getting coached by me, because I'm giving you coaching right here and here, but if you want to get coached by me to where you actually are talking to me directly and I'm talking back to you, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. The links to both of those programs are down below in the description. Work on your game. Dre all day.